goodness. Be happy about it. It's not a punishment. It's not something you have to do. It's something you want to do. Okay? And guess what? The way you do it will be reflected. The way you go before the Most High, He's going to hear you. So, look, if you're tired, He understands that. And He's going to respect that. But if you go before Him not wanting to be before Him, He's not going to hear that. Why would He? Why would you? Why would you? Why would you accept that? So don't ever look at it as something that you have to do. More like something that you want to do. You understand? Okay, verse 3.
Know ye that the Most High, He is Yahweh.
Now, I'm going to read that to you again. Know ye that the Lord, He is power. I'm going to read it to you again. Know ye, you got to know this, that the Lord, He is power. Now remember, the word Lord is a funny word. The Hebrew word is Adawan. Now, you know they had Baal. Baal means Lord, and they would call him Lord. And other gods, deities, I should say, or idols, I should really say, they called them Lord. You understand? And they attempted to confuse us in who is Lord. You understand? They had so many idols, and they would say, well, my God does this, my God did this, He got me this. So then, you know, we were always curious, and I should say it better, we were always nosy. Nosy when it came to the other nations and their gods, right? Even when we would take them down, we were so nosy and dumb that we want to pick up their idols. But here it says, know ye that the Lord, which Lord is it talking about? It's talking about the Most High. So in other words, you have to make a separation in your mind, spiritually, all the time, who you're worshiping, who you're acknowledging. Know ye that the Lord, He is power. And the word God, remember, it means power. The word Allah means power. So this Lord that we're talking about, He is power. The Most High is power. He is the Achaad. You understand? Which means that He is the utmost, but they would translate that as saying the terrible demonic power, but He's not a demon. Right. Most High is the ultimate power. So this is what David is trying to let us know, that there are many idols, there are many deities. Okay, there are many people that have power as king, but the Most High, He is the true power. Read on.
It is He that hath made us, and not we ourselves.
Which is simple. It's simple and very self-explanatory, right? But He's telling you to acknowledge that. It is He that has made us, not these idols, not Baal, none of these other so-called gods. The Most High made us. So when we come before Him, we have to show Him that we know that and acknowledge that. Read on.
We are His people, and the sheep of His pasture.
And we should be proud of that. We are His people. You understand? If you put the right energy into reading this, even mentally, even if you read it in your mind, you would get what He's trying to say. We are His people. He is the power. You understand? So that's the focus. That's how you have to really read it and get into it. And as you're doing it, you're praising the Most High. You're actually praising the Most High. You're acknowledging Him. You're praising Him. Read on.
Enter into His gates with thanksgiving.
Be thankful, brothers, sister. Be thankful that you're here. Be thankful that you can go to Him spiritually. So it says, enter into His gates with thanksgiving. Be happy about it. You ain't got to wait till November like these other nations do, right? You ain't got to do that. You can do that every day. With what? Thanksgiving, appreciation. Read.
And into His courts with praise.
With praise, brothers, sister, with praise. Let it always be on your tongue. You know, it should be where you are changing yourself. Where before you had foulness on your tongue, at the tip of your tongue. Now at the tip of your tongue you should have what? Praising the Most High. You understand? Sometimes when you feel like you want to curse, you should praise the Most High instead. Have that on the tip of your tongue, because that is the kind of man and woman that we're trying to be. You understand? Being what? Why are we doing this though? Because again, we're acknowledging Him that He is the power, and we're acknowledging Him that we are His people. Read.
Be thankful unto Him and bless His name.
Beautiful. Bless His name in your mind all day long. Be thankful unto Him for all that He's done, and bless His name. That's why you can always say Barak Hashem Yahweh. Barak Hashem Yahweh Shai. Barak means praise, right? Ha, the, Shem, name, Yahweh. Barak Hashem Yahweh. Barak Hashem Yahweh Shai. See, when I pray, I say Barak Hashem Yahweh. Then I say Barak listen, I put my all into it. I break it down. See, because in me breaking it down, I know it's going into one power, one source. You understand? And it keeps me concentrated in what I'm doing. You have to praise the Most High. Think about it. There's 100 billion. I'm doing. There's a billion Christians, so they say. There's a billion Muslims, right? Now the billion Christians, they swear they're praising the Most High. And in their minds, I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot of them that are very sincere, but they're not sincere according to knowledge. In other words, like the scripture said, they're zealous, but not according to knowledge, right? Which means that in their praising, they're including images in their head. And when you're including images in your mind as you're praying, that's who you're praying to. Think about that. You pray to Caesar, you're praying, but you have Caesar Borgia in your mind. You're praying. That's what you're praying to. Are you not? Think about it. But again, they're ignorant of the truth. So now, you and I that are knowledgeable of the truth, we have to make sure that we condition not only our words and the tone in which we praise, but the images in our minds. That's very important. You understand? You're putting on that new man, that new woman. It's a physical thing. It's an emotional thing. It's a spiritual thing. It's a visual thing. You understand what I'm saying? It has to be a visual thing because then you're complete. You are complete. That's what we have to do. And it's a fight. Can anybody in here tell me that when they pray, it's not a fight? You're fighting to concentrate. You're fighting to not only say the words, but mean the words. You're fighting to keep your concentration where it's supposed to be. Right? So, in you doing that, do you not think that the Most High would not acknowledge you? Of course He will. But when you do make a mistake and you're praying to the Most High, but you're thinking about playland, you need to stop. Start over again. Okay? And then put yourself back on the right mode. That's why I'm telling you, it's a physical thing, it's a mental thing, it's a visual thing. Hear yourself in what you're doing. Sometimes you can go through a whole prayer and not even know you did. Because now you're on autopilot, right? But that's not how you praise the Most High. That's not how you pray to the Most High. Each time you pray, it's new. It's not about just repetition and repeating the words. They do that in the churches. When they worshiping their idols, they say their names 100 times, right? We're not going to do that. Matter of fact, Most High tells us not to do that. But when we do it, we have to try to force ourselves to concentrate. Okay? And in doing that, then the Most High will acknowledge that. You don't need 100 repetitions. That makes no sense. Read on.
For the Adwan is good. His mercy is everlasting, and His truth endureth to all generations.
And the Most High is good. He is wonderful. He's beautiful. He's precious. He's powerful. You understand? He's all these wonderful things, but good is a lot of things, brothers. And He is good. But now you might say me giving you a gift is good, right? That's good. Now Him giving us life is good. Guess what? Him taking life from us is good also. Why? Give me Isaiah 57:1 real quick. Good is a lot of things. Good is a lot of things. And the Most High is all of that good. But you have to understand, the way that the Most High thinks and operates is on a level that's way above us.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 57, verse 1. The righteous perisheth.
Right, so the righteous perishes, meaning what? They die, they're taken away. Read on.
And no man layeth it to heart.
No man thinks about it. Well, why did that good man die? Why did that good woman die? That was a good sister, that was a good brother. Why did he die? Or in other words, nobody says, why did the Most High take them? Read that again from the top.
The righteous perisheth, and no man layeth it to heart. And merciful men are taken away.
So righteous and mercy are all what? Good traits in man, right? Read on.
None considering that the righteous is taken away from the evil to come.
And that is a good thing. So when it says the Most High is good, that is a good thing. So if He takes you, it's a good thing. But why would He take the righteous man? Say it, brother.
Before the evil to come.
There you go. Now, people don't equate the taking of life to the Most High as they do with the giving of life. But we understand fully that the Most High does both, right? And both are good. Both are good. But think about a brother like John the Baptist. What did he do? What did he do to go the way he did? It's the Most High's will. You understand? He's a righteous man. He was taken away, right? And he was taken away in a manner in which most would say is not good. But nonetheless, the Most High will bless him. You understand what I'm saying? Read the next verse.
He shall enter into peace.
Exactly. He shall enter into peace. While he was here, he preached. He did his work, and he was a serious man. He was about it. Okay? He was in the wilderness, or he was preaching, or he was with his followers. You understand? But when the Most High took him, what happened? He entered into his peace. Is there peace on this earth right now?
No.
So what about back then when he was on the earth? No. So he was better off in the spiritual realm. But he had did his work. You understand? So read that again, verse 2.
He shall enter into peace.
And that is good. That's one of the good powers of the Most High. That's what he does. Read on.
They shall rest in their beds, each one walking in his uprightness.
Right. They shall rest. That's death. Okay, so when somebody asks you, well, what is death? We're reading about it. That's death. They shall enter into his rest. You understand? Read it again.
He shall enter into peace. They shall rest in their beds, each one walking in his uprightness.
And that's a blessing. That was a blessing for John the Baptist. That is a blessing for all of us when we pass, when we're doing the works of the Most High, when we are what? Merciful, when we're kind, when we're good. You understand? Now listen, people die in some terrible ways on this earth. I mean, John the Baptist died in one of the most terrible ways, right? But, I mean, think about Peter. He died upside down. Think about the rest of the brothers. They died in terrible ways, right? But nonetheless, you can't say to yourself, well, why did the Most High kill him? Because he gave you the answer. Your mind is limited, and it would say, well, I should live forever. That's what your mind is telling you. But the Most High is showing you, this is how I operate. This is how I think. Okay, even if a man is righteous, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to reward him with death. Now, you might say, well, how could reward and death be in the same sentence to be a good thing? He's showing you. To take you away from all the foolishness, all the entanglement and evil. Because remember, he was going to war with Herod at the time when he was on the earth. And because of that, now he was put in prison and then he was decapitated, right? The Most High took him out of all of that. He had did his work, and at the end of his work, he was rewarded. All right? So that is an example of what is good. Yes, the sun being in the sky is good, and the moon is good, and the good weather is good, and the fruits and all the blessings that the Most High, that's all good. You understand? The strength that you get, that's all good. But also, good is also him taking us away from all the craziness in the world. You understand? So now why do you have to know this? Because you're coming up on another level. You're accepting the way the Most High, the way he is. All right? Now, real quick, Isaiah 55 and 8. Isaiah 55 and 8.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Achaad.
And you read, as the people of the Most High, as the ones coming up on the level of understanding that he wants to give to us, we have to accept that. It's not just how we feel. It's not just what we want. It's what the Most High wants, how he feels. You understand? So, with that now, go to 2 Samuel chapter 23, verse 3. 2 Samuel 23.
Verse what?
Verse 3.
The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 23, verse 3. The Most High, the power of Israel, said, the rock of Israel spake to me.
Now you hear the word, the way he's saying it. I mean, he's saying it, he's really putting the Most High up there. You know what I'm saying? He's bragging about it. First of all, he's acknowledging the Most High, but then he's saying, this spake to me. You understand? And that is the attitude that we're supposed to have. You understand? Because in him speaking to Samuel the way he did. Remember the first time he went to Samuel, he called his name, and Samuel was like, ran to his father, like, did you call me? Remember that? Right. But then he learned that the Most High was actually talking to him, because his father said, the next time you hear that, say, here I am. Right? So that is special. The one that created the sun is talking to you, created the moon, created the earth, created all living things, that has all power, is dealing with you. Right? So now, it's the same thing with everybody up in here. It's the same thing with everybody that the Most High gives knowledge of the scriptures. You're unique, like Samuel was. The Most High is dealing with you. That's very important. Okay, he's acknowledging you. The Most High doesn't have to deal with you. There's billions of people on this planet. He don't talk to all of them. You understand? He don't talk to all of them. But now he's dealing with you. So now, the way that Samuel is saying it is like, look, this is special, man. That's how you and I have to be. That's how we have to acknowledge and show the Most High that we appreciate him. Read that again.
2 Samuel 23 verse 3. The power of Israel said, the rock of Israel spake to me. He that ruleth over men must be just, ruling in the fear of the Most High.
Right, and that's how we have to carry ourselves. Just. Understand, whether you're dealing with a nation or you're dealing with your family, brothers, you have to be just. You have to be why? Did we not hear and understand and read that the Most High is just? So we have to be just. Okay, and the Most High is just in all things. He's balanced. You understand? So even when he gave us a king, he told us what's going to happen, right? He said, look, you're going to get a king, and this king, he's going to take your daughters for his wives, he's going to take your horses, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. But the reason why the Most High was saying that is because he was showing us that he is our king. You understand? But now we, again, being nosy and being all that, looking at the other nations, saying, hold on, they got a king. Why we can't have a king? You want a king on a horse riding like their king is riding, right? Right, but see, in other words, his way and our way is not the same. He's saying, look, even though you can't see me, I am your king. You're winning your battles because I'm winning your battles. I'm taking down your enemies. All I ask you to do or command you to do is to be right. Keep my laws. But now we was like, nah, we want a king we can see. You understand? The Assyrians got a king, they got a king over here. Let us get a king, right? But it's just that our minds, even though the Most High said, let us make man in our image, that wasn't a one-day thing. That's an ongoing process. You understand? So if we had sense, we would say, okay, Most High, you are our king. But we didn't do that. Read on.
Verse 4. And he shall be as the light of the morning, when the sun riseth, even a morning without clouds, as the tender grass springing out of the earth by clear shining after rain. Although my house be not so with Yahweh, yet he hath made me in everlasting covenant, ordered in all things, and sure. For this is all my salvation, and all my desire, although he make it not to grow.
So what he's saying is, it's supposed to be one way, but it's not there yet. My house is not there yet. Understand? But it's okay. I'm still going to praise the Most High. Understand? So now, that's saying for you and I, that's talking about all of us. Within ourselves, our own houses, our bodies, within our physical houses where we dwell, within our families. It's not the way it's supposed to. It's not up to level yet, right? Now, you might be in the Word, you know, your partner might not be in the Word, or they might be in the Word, and what happens? You might clash in the house, so it's not complete yet. But yet, the brother is still praising the Most High, right? That's what you have to do. You might be standing in the middle of the biggest mess. You still have to praise the Most High, because that's what makes sense. That's what he created you to do. So if you're confused and wondering, what am I supposed to do? I can't get this right. This house ain't right. These kids ain't right. The wife ain't right. The husband ain't right. Praise the Most High. Because it's going to come in time. But don't say to yourself, well, because it's not there yet, I'm not going to praise him yet. Well, it ain't in me. You understand? It's not there yet. So in the same sense, the king is supposed to be the same way. He's supposed to be just. He's supposed to be righteous. he's supposed to have the attitude that the Most High put me here as ruler. You understand? Even if things are not the way things are not the way they are supposed to. They were meant to be. So the king, the ruler, is supposed to be just. The president is supposed to be just, right? Is our president just right now?
No.
Is he moral right now?
No.
Why not? Because he has the one thing that the Most High hates the most: pride. You understand? And that thing, it destroys him, because it doesn't even make him complete. It makes him fumble. It makes him say all kind of crazy things. You understand that he got to walk it back, or somebody else got to walk it back, right? Man is not supposed to be like that. But remember that a king, a ruler, they represent the time that we're in. They're the greatest influence on their kingdom or their people. So when you see a king that's like that, it's a representation of the times we're in. Okay, the man has so much pride, right? And you would think, man, all you got to do is shut your mouth and just chill, right? You can't even do that. You can't even do that because he's full of so much pride. He has to run his mouth constantly, right? But we understand that what? The Most High is the one that selects the ruler. Now, some people are going to say, I voted for that man. Okay, all right, that's good, that's good, that's good. But the Most High was the one that put him there. Each and every ruler that's ever been on this earth. Go to the book of, all right. Psalms 2:10. These are representations of the times that we're living in and what this earth is supposed to go through right now. So when you see the turmoil, when you see the uprising, when you see all these things, but yet you don't see a ruler that can, as a president, step in and calm it down or deal with it effectively, it shows you there's a time of chaos. He was meant to be in office right now. Psalms 2:10.
The book of Psalms, chapter 2, verse 10. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings.
He's supposed to be wise. And every king is supposed to what? Have wise advisors. Saul did. Well, Saul went off. But Saul did. Right? David did. Right? But understand, even Solomon did. But you see what happened with Solomon, right? He had wise advisors, but then he had advisors that weren't wise. They were foolish. So that's what every president or ruler is faced with. But the ruler himself has to be wise and righteous and just, because then what? He'll deal with the ones of the advisors that are right. Now, if he's not right, what is he going to do? His whole administration is going to be corrupt. And what do you see? The whole administration is corrupt. Everybody going to jail, right? All kind of madness happening. But then after that, the whole country's in uproar, because it's showing you where we are. It's the king, it's the ruler, it's the president, but it's also the people. All right, so read on.
Be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve the other one with fear.
Not pride, fear. Because you understand that he put you there. But now, if the only thing you could do is stand and put a Bible up, and this is you testifying that I believe in God, no, that's not good enough, man. You know, your words, they all have to be what? With fear. They have to show the people, okay, you know, I believe in God. I'm not going to go above God. But when a man is not into God, he's lost. So what's happening now, even with the president, as much as he claims to be, what do you call himself, the law and order president?
Yes.
Nah, in order to be law and order, you got to yourself be ruling yourself. That man is not ruling himself. He's not ruling himself. Many advisors whispering in his ear, do this, do that. Oh, just go out there with the Bible and, you know, all the evangelical, whatever they call themselves. They'll notice that, okay, you got a Bible in your hand. You're on their side. Vote for me. That's all that meant. Yeah. Vote for me. I got a Bible, right? Vote for me again, because those are the people that put him in office. And that's what it's all about. But at the end of the day, you and I have to see beyond all of that, and beyond all of that, see the Most High. The Most High has shown you, these are the signs of the times. This is where we are right now. But you be just. You be righteous. You continue to praise me. Right? Even though you see that that's not where the world is, that's where you have to be. Because you're in the world, but you're not of the world. It's easy to give into this mob mentality, to be like everybody else. Right? The president's full of pride. the people are full of pride. You can't be like that. You have to separate yourself. You ain't even got to go out there marching. What are you marching for? What are you protesting? What are you protesting? Haven't you seen that your whole movement has been hijacked? Okay? So now it started out being about Jake, right? And all the black men that died, right? Which of course we should acknowledge, right? But at the same time, it's morphed into something else now. Now they're talking about gay rights. Now we're talking about the flag. So now they're marching, but now you're seeing flags with rainbows up, right? Because those are the times that we're in. That was the whole purpose from the beginning. So you now have to use the word and see through all of that and judge everything openly. Judge your president. Is this a just man? No, it's not. Is that a righteous man? No, it's not. Judge the cause, what they call the cause now. Is that a just cause? No, it's not. Because it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. And if it did, the Most High would show you that. But your time is going to come. But in between that, you have to be just. You can't go with the way everybody else is thinking. Let's go to the book of Acts chapter 13, verse 22. We're supposed to be spiritual people all the time, not just on Sundays, right? Not just on Sundays until we're supposed to be spiritual people all the time. Meaning what? We have to look into what the Most High says. Acts chapter 13, verse 22.
The book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 22. And when he had removed him...
Matter of fact, my brother started verse 21.
Verse 21. And afterward they desired a king, and Yahweh gave unto them Saul, the son of Cis.
Now the son of Kish. Now let me actually try to say Cis, but it's actually the son of Kish. Do you not think that the Most High knew that Saul was flawed? He knew that. But we wanted a king, right? So okay, I'm going to give you a king. Now, everybody has good and bad, right? But it depends on what rises to the top. Read.
A man of the tribe of Benjamin, by the space of 40 years.
So in the space of 40 years, we had Saul as our king. And there was a lot of uproar, there was a lot of things going on. Because of what? The man Saul himself. That was what was in him. And you saw that with Saul, even the spirits were able to deal with him on a level where they were able to manipulate him. To the point where he almost murdered David. Right? Read on.
And when he had removed him, he raised up unto them David to be their king, to whom also he gave testimony, and said, I have found David, the son of Jesse, a man after mine own heart, which shall fulfill all my will.
Now, that's what the Most High says about David. Was David a perfect man? Not at all. Remember, Saul killed his thousands, but David killed what?
10,000.
As a result, he couldn't build the temple, right? But nonetheless, the Most High said, that's my man. Why did the Most High approve of David? Because David had the right attitude. You understand? David grew and was able to grow. You understand? Some rulers are not like that. They're full of pride, they stay full of pride. You understand? But David, the Most High was nurturing him from when he was a young man. Okay? Read on. Matter of fact, hold on. The point of the Most High acknowledging David is to show you that the kind of man that he wants is the kind of man that would always go back to him. You understand? David committed adultery, okay, with Bathsheba. Had her husband murdered. Right? So you would think that, wait a minute, what kind of man is that? Why would the Most High like a man like that? But David, even to his dying days and his old age, was still all about the Most High. He was a warrior for the Most High. You understand? So you need to look at David and see if there's those kind of characteristics are in you. Yes, you're flawed, but so was David. Okay? Yes, you make mistakes, but so did David. David made major mistakes. You might not have made, more than likely, you ain't killed nobody. Or ordered anybody to be killed, like David did, right? But nonetheless, the Most High will look at you and accept you and acknowledge you. So you have to learn, you have to find a way in which you grade yourself. Do I match up to David? You can match up to David, but you have to have the attitude of always the Most High. Who do you think wrote the Psalms? Most of the Psalms, David. And what he did was he chronicled everything that he went through with Bathsheba, with his child, the Most High put the child to death, and he put it all there. So you have to now be like him and meditate on what you're doing, what you're going through, the decisions you're making. What plight or trial the Most High God puts in front of you and how you react to it.
David had the spirit of repentance.
Yes. Repentance.
Pure repentance.
You understand? So when I say he always went back to the Most High, it's repentance. Meaning what? You have to be able to say, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Not just say it in just any old way, but mean it. Because remember, the Most High searches the reins, he searches the heart. David was able to do that. Even when he made the mistake of counting Israel, which the Most High told him, don't do that, man. Don't do that. But he did it anyway. David was always able to repent and go back to the Most High. Sometimes, like our current leader, you have so much pride that you can't. Or you don't allow yourself. Or when the cameras come on, you become somebody else. You understand? David was a man that not only was he able to repent, he was able to express it in writing. You understand? So sometimes that's what we need to do. Because when you go back and you read what you wrote, you see the kind of man that you really are. You understand? Who are you? Check it out. Who are you? In all the years it's been on the earth, from the time you were born to the time you came into the truth, who are you? Who were you? And who are you going to be? That's why we use David as an example. We can use Saul too. But Saul, when the Most High rejected him, what happened? Even before he knew he was messed up. It's like, but the Most High's not dealing with me no more? And he was always jealous of David, right? Because he knew that the Most High was going to choose David. Even from the time when David was young. You understand? But that's what we have to do, brothers, sisters. Repent. Go back to the Most High. Don't let celebrities, personalities, family members, you understand? People that you looked up to, people you looked up to from the time you were young, that are not right. Don't let them influence you to the point where you're not right. Okay? If you read and understand that you're supposed to repent, go back to the Most High, pray to the Most High, praise the Most High, do that. I had an uncle when I was coming up. I love this man. I love this man so much. He was an atheist. You understand? So he was out of college and he was telling me about his college experience, and just because he was a younger uncle, I loved him so much. But I had to learn that if you don't believe in the Most High, there's something missing. There's something wrong. And as much as I looked up to this man, I just had to let that go. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we have to do. That's an influence in my life. And I'm sharing that with you because there'll be somebody close to you in your life that'll be like that. And when you're an atheist, you're proud about it. You have to let the whole world know. Ain't no God. Get out of here with that. Right? That's how they behave. That's what they say. But now I'll use myself as an example. As a child, I listened and I wanted to know, what do you mean by that? How did you get there? How are you so strong in that? Most people would be afraid to say ain't no God, right? So what made you so strong and you got to the point where you could say that out loud and in front of everybody, right? Those things can lead you in the wrong direction. So you have to look at the evidence that goes against that. Don't you? Ain't no God, but there's a sun in the sky. How did it get there? And it's standing there. And it's still shining, right? There's a moon that man didn't make, right? So now when you're young, you might not be able to do that, but as you get older, you're supposed to be able to do that. Okay, and then you now become that bigger uncle, that bigger influence on somebody else, and show them wrong from right. Okay? Let's leave from there and go to the book of Isaiah 61, because what's happening right now is that this whole earth is in darkness. And guess what? I just said that there's a sun in the sky and a moon in the sky, so how could the world be in darkness? It's because of men. It's because of people on the earth. You understand? And what they've done. Because they question that. They said, well, the sun is 93 million miles away. How the hell do you know that? Right? Who told you that? And when did you travel that far and come back? to tell me that is that far, right? They say, okay, you know what? The sun goes around the earth, or the earth goes around the sun. Well, what is it? So because of these things, now the earth is in darkness. Because it was always understood in the ancient days that it was the sun that went around the earth. You understand? Like you see the moon doing it? But here comes Copernicus, and here come all these New Age Renaissance guys. No, that's not what it is. The earth goes around the sun. It involves evolution. Think about that, right? And then people would say, well, how do you know that? I got this little glass scope right here, right? Tells me everything. And if you're an intelligent man, you will accept that. If you're an intelligent woman, you would now accept the new truth, right? But that new truth and all the other new truth and all this Renaissance stuff that's been put out there from the time of the Renaissance, right, has put this earth in nothing but darkness. So now nobody knows or understands anything. They don't even know the Most High. They think he's some naked guy, you know, playing with his finger somewhere, right? That's what they think. That's what they saw. That's what they were shown. So that's what they believe, right? They believe that the only thing that he got covering himself is his beard. Right? What kind of God is that? And that's why I tell you got to be careful when you're praying. You have to get your visualization right. Because if you're shown that all the time, that's what you're going to visualize. You're praying to the Most High, you're praying to the naked guy with his finger, playing with his finger. Right? So it's a concentration thing. It's a thing that you have to force yourself to do. And like I said, if you mess up, you got to start over. Right? So now, give me Isaiah 60. We're going to start at verse 1.
60 verse 1?
Yes, sir.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come.
And the light is the Most High. It's everything about the Most High. His words, everything. So read that again. Arise, shine.
Arise, shine, for thy light is come.
And the Most High is going to shed light on all the darkness that they've brought into this world. All this revisionist history that they've put in this world, right? They revise everything. They done retold it their way, their version, right? The Most High is going to shed light on the whole thing. But read on.
And the glory of the other one is risen upon thee.
Upon you, not the world right now. Upon you, that the Most High has blessed to go into his world. The whole world is in darkness. You understand? And I said to you, the darkness is not because there's lack of sun or moon, it's there. But it's because of what man has done, what man has said, and what man has wrote. Because everything that man has said, done, and wrote is in the minds of people. Therefore, their minds are in darkness. The sun is still out there, brothers. Go outside. Check it out. Right? So you got to understand that in here is light, is wisdom. Read.
For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth.
And the earth is in darkness, but yet the sun still shines. Remember that. Read.
And gross darkness the people.
Why the people? The sun not shining on them? Yes, it is. But the knowledge that they've been given is so corrupt and dirty. You understand? That's why they're in darkness. Read.
But the other one shall arise upon thee.
He shall arise upon you, not the whole world. Not at this time. In the time of the kingdom, that's the whole world. But right now, it's you. You. Understand? Individuals that he has chosen to show light to. Okay? That's why you have to praise him and be thankful to him. And make sure you do it every day. Because he's chosen you to show you light. Read.
And his glory shall be seen upon thee.
Read. That's amazing though, right? He's going to make you so wise that others can see it. All them other people in darkness are going to be looking at you. What's up with you, man? Like Moses when he came down off the mount, right? His face shone. That's how we're going to be. Why? Because we don't accept foolishness. We don't accept lies. And what Copernicus said. And what this liar said. And what that liar said. Right? We don't accept that. We accept the word of the Most High. Therefore, we shine. We illuminate with the words of the Most High. With the spirit of the Most High. That's what's going to make you shine. The spirits of the Most High being on you. Read.
And the Gentiles shall come to thy light.
Because the Gentiles are in darkness right now. Darkness. Some of the darkness that they created. Ain't that something? They done created the darkness and they're in darkness. Right? They created evolution, right? Did the Most High create evolution? No, he didn't do that. He said, I created. I made. They said, no, it evolved. That's what they said. The Gentiles said that. The Most High didn't say that. Read that again, my brother.
And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising.
But you see that it's still talking about thy, right? So it's talking about you. In other words, they're in darkness. But the Most High is going to put His Spirit and His knowledge within you so that you shine. So that when you go to them now, then they're going to come to the light. Not on their own. They lives in darkness, brothers. They live there. You understand me? Why? Because the darkness that they have created is what illuminates them. Understand that. When they painted the Most High their color, it illuminated them. When they changed everybody in the Bible to look like them, it illuminated them. It made them look special. Oh, we God's people. Look, He looked just like us. No, He don't. You understand what I'm saying? But that's what they did to illuminate themselves. But as in the process of time, He made them into darkness because there was no stopping it. You understand? One said that there's evolution, Charles Darwin, right? And another one said, well, it's the earth that rotates around the sun, right? They said all of these wonderful things and put themselves in a pocket of darkness. Darkness. You understand? Because the more you tell lies, the more you separate yourself from the Most High. Something as simple as painting Him to look like you. Why didn't you leave it alone? Why didn't they leave it alone? Because it was their time. It is their time. It's the time of the Gentiles. It's been the time of the Gentiles. About to be up, though. Fitting to be up. Fitting to be right up and over. Right? So, what you understand in that, you now take on that light. Illuminate yourself. Try to get that darkness out your mind. Get that crap out your mind. Stay in the Word of the Most High. Now, from the time you first came to the Word of the Most High, there was a challenge. There was just some back and forth in your mind. Is that real? Is that true? Did Adam really look like me? Because now you were battling what you heard, what you read, and what you were shown. You were battling that with what? The Word of the Most High. So the battle is actually with yourself and the Word of the Most High and what the world says. You understand? Now that makes you what? That makes you a fighter. That makes you a warrior, like David. We're all like David, but we're doing that spiritual warfare, spiritual fighting. This thing is more spiritual than it is anything else. There's a lot of carnality out there. Understand that. But you now have to understand that this is spiritual warfare. You're fighting a spiritual battle. And like any other fighter, warrior, you're on the battlefield, but not just when you gather as an army, all day long you're on the battlefield. You're on the battlefield in your relationships, on the job, on the way home. Within yourself, you're spiritual warfare. Within yourself, you're fighting yourself. You understand? So, that means that now you have to be like David, and like the sister said, repent. Repent. All the time, every day. Everything that you did wrong and what you will do wrong, you got to repent and what? Come back to the Most High. Because that's where what? The light is. Outside of that is darkness. And there's always a battle between light and dark. Right? Always. It's the most beautiful thing in the morning, early morning, when you see that sunlight coming up. You understand? First you see a little glimmer, a little glow. And you just want to watch. What's going to happen next? You see what I'm saying? But you want to observe the light coming up. Right? You want to observe that. That's one of the beauties that the Most High has created in nature. And if you've never seen that, trust me, try to see that. I had a job where I used to be able to go up on top of this building and just face east. And just watch the sun come up. I used to love that thing. And I would do it during different periods of the year. In the fall, in the spring, it would always look different. You understand? And I would see the sun coming up and I'd appreciate that. So there's something so beautiful about light. And the thing that's so beautiful is that the Most High is light. Understand that. Within you is light. Within you is light. You have to allow that light to illuminate so that others can see it. Now, what I said is what the Most High said. There's light in us, right? You have to remind yourself of that. You do. You have to remind yourself that there's light within you, because part of your battle is dealing with that darkness, saying, I'm too fat, I'm too dark, I'm too ugly, I ain't got no job, and I can't pay the bills. That's all darkness. And sometimes that darkness talks louder than the light, right? That's your battle, man. That's your fight. That's what you got to fight against. And I'm not saying everything that you go through, but you know what you go through. It's personal, right? So that's a part of your fight. But always remember that there's light. It's in the Word, so go there for that light. Okay? If you feel nothing but depression, darkness, and loneliness, and contempt for yourself and within yourself, go to where it's not. Where the Most High is saying, look, I'm going to make you shine. Okay? So if the words or the power is not in you at the time, go to where it is. That's what we got to do. That's a part of our fight. And you need to remember that. Read verse 2 again. Yeah, verse 2.
Isaiah chapter 60 verse 2. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people, but the Adawan shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee.
I got to smile when I read that, because as I'm talking to you, I'm realizing, I'm seeing that yes, the darkness is on the earth and covers the whole earth, but it sometimes invades us. You understand? It invades us, whether it be by thoughts or by what people say about us. You ain't no good. Nigga, you ain't got no job. Right? How you gonna have a woman you ain't got no job? How you gonna do this? You know, it's all these negatives. That's that darkness invading you, your space, your personal space, your mind space. That's where you're supposed to be ruling, right? But the darkness covers us also at times. So we have to fight again to do what? To illuminate. Now I'll jump down to verse 5.
The book of Isaiah chapter 60 verse 5. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fare and be enlarged.
Be enlarged because you overcame. You understand? You let the light in and you overcame. Read on.
Because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee.
The forces of the Gentiles, all the riches of the Gentiles. Us sitting here in this little room, the few of us saying that it might seem impossible, right? But we didn't say it. The Most High said it. Same one that put that sun up there. Now, if you put that sun up there, maintains it, what does that mean? Everything that he said is going to happen. That's what that means. So you don't even have to fight for that, brothers. Don't let nobody fool you when talking about you got to go rob a store, break a window. Don't do none of that. The Most High said the forces of the Gentiles shall be brought unto you. They're going to bring it to you. You ain't got to go after them, rob them, kill them. You ain't got to do none of that. They're going to bring it asking for mercy. Oh, please take all my gold. Just give me some kind of... Right, there you go. That's the way it works. Okay? But now you have to be a believer. You have to be a consumer of this word to believe and really feel that. Because if not, you're going to be like these people out here running into stores, stealing sneakers and phones. That's not necessary, man. Some people say, oh, we went out to Manhattan to where the white people die. So what? Now you're going to jail maybe, right? That's not us, brothers. We don't do that. That's not necessary. The Most High said what? The forces of the Gentiles shall be brought unto you. Read on.
Verse 6. The multitude of camels shall cover thee. The dromedaries of Midian and Ephah. All they from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense. And they shall show forth the praises of the Adawan.
Exactly. Now I want you to go to verse 10.
Verse 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls.
Same ones that had you in slavery, in captivity, they're going to build up your walls. They're going to serve you, be servants. And they're going to be willing in that day because they're going to realize that all the wickedness that they did is what put them in the position that they're in right now, the predicament that they're in right now. Economies all over the world is falling. Stock market is falling, right? Hell, Facebook is falling, right? You understand what I'm saying? But the point of the matter is that we don't have to run up to these people and fight them. The Most High is doing this. It's a prophecy that will come to pass, just like everything else did. He said he's going to bring us here on slave ships, and he sure enough did, right? He said they're going to treat us bad, and they sure enough did. But now, let me ask you a question. If you got a right mind, if you got your mind is right, you should be able to meditate and say, okay, the Most High used so-called Europeans, white people, to enslave us, right? Now, you're gonna be mad. You're gonna be full with envy, but you need to be full with understanding that the Most High had power over that. He controlled that. You understand what I'm saying? So now you control yourself. You control yourself. You ain't got to go out there fighting nobody like that. And the reason I'm telling you this over and over again is because some brothers are saying something different. You understand? But when you in jail, they gonna come for you. You understand what I'm saying? Don't be in jail unnecessary, man. Don't be arrested unnecessary. Don't have all these foolish things happen to you unnecessary when the Most High is gonna fight for you. Okay? Now there will be a time when the Most High raises his army. Ezekiel 37 tells you that. That'll be a mighty army. That time is coming. Because even with that army, remember that bone came to bone at a certain time. You understand? And the first thing you got to do is come to the knowledge of the Most High. That's the first thing you got to do. Then be wise. You got brothers that they claim they're so wise, but they cannot even have a conversation with somebody that doesn't look like them. That's not real wisdom right there. Because any kind of wisdom you have the first thing it should do is to give you self-control. At least. If you ain't got self-control, what do you have? You have no wisdom. You might be able to tell me history from A to Z. Babylonians, such and such. Okay, all right, but now somebody's trying to interview you, give you a chance to put the word of truth out there. You can't even have a conversation. Or you can't even have a conversation without belittling that person, which means you're not going to be seen, right? Why would they even bother with that? We got to grow, man. We have to grow as a nation. And we are growing. Let me not say like we're not, but we got to come up on a level where we're ambassadors of the Most High. Representatives of the Most High. You understand what I'm saying? Not just a couple of black dudes on the corner with garments. Speaking every foul language they could speak. That's not Israel. That's not the Most High. A true ambassador represents something. You might represent a country, you might represent a kingdom. The Most High is calling us to be ambassadors of Him. Of Him. Which means that we have to learn how to articulate. We have to learn how to be patient. We have to have self-control. We have to be true representatives. We have to have power and passion. You hear how I speak this word? When I'm speaking this word, I can't even, it's so much in me. It's like I'm on fire. You understand? Because I feel it in my bones. That's how you got to be. Because then it's believable. It's believable when you are showing the strength of the force that the Most High has put within you. Read.
And their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee.
Read that last precept again, brother.
And their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee.
That's what we're looking at, right? That's what we want, right? That's what we got. The Most High is having mercy on us. Why? Because we sinned. We did all kind of things that was wrong. Worship idols, other gods. We did all kind of things. And the Most High said, look, if you don't stop, I'm going to get you. Okay? I'm going to send somebody to get you. So he sent the Babylonians. They got us. They had us for 70 years up in there. Right? Then he sent everybody else. At some point, they either came and got us or they had some kind of rule over us. Sometimes we was paying tribute to them. You understand? Which means what? The Most High was trying to show us that you're doing wrong. Right? But even in our wrong, He had mercy on us. So even now, we were in slavery for 400 years, as prophesied in the Bible. Right? And after those 400 years, the Most High said He would redeem us. So we're in that time. But remember that you have to be right. Okay? You have to represent Him right. You have to do the right thing. In front of the congregation, at home by yourself, on the way home, when you're talking to people, when you're dealing with people, you have to be right. You have to represent right. You have to be an Israelite. What does that mean, though? Can anybody tell me what Israelite means? Brother. Yasha Allah. What does Yasha Allah mean?
Prince of the power.
Say that again.
Prince of the power.
I'm going to take it on one level. He is Prince of the power. Yasha Allah. You understand what I'm saying? Now, y'all should always remember what that means. Okay? Yasha Allah. Korah, what does Yasha Allah mean?
Yeshua
Yahshua means praise Israel.
Okay. Yashar Allah. What does Yah mean in Hebrew?
He's power.
He means he. What is what would the rest mean? Yashar Allah. What is Shar in Hebrew? Prince. Shar. Shar means prince in Hebrew. And Allah means what? Power. So break it down. He is Prince of Power. How did we get that name? Does anybody remember that history? How we got that name?
Wrestling the angel. Jacob wrestled an angel.
We fought an angel for that. Our forefather Jacob fought an angel all nights to get that name. And at the end, the angel saw that Jacob wasn't giving up. The sun was coming up. And the angel said, okay, you got it. I see you ain't giving up. Meaning what? He's a prince of power because he fought an angel. You understand? That's who we are. That's what we do. That's the kind of people we are. We fight. But remember, this is a spiritual fight. All you princes of powers and princesses of powers, you need to remember that the power is within you. It's in your name, Yasha Allah, Israel. But the power that you have now must be contained. The power that you have now, you must represent. Okay? Be David. Yeah, you're gonna make mistakes like he did. But fight. Spiritually. 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 With your words, with your actions, how you represent yourself, how you dress. Fight. A spiritual fight. Because all that we're reading about right now, it's gonna happen. Without a shadow of a doubt. It's not a maybe or I don't know, maybe, kind of. No, ain't none of that. We're dealing with the Most High. As long as you still see that sun in that sky, what does that mean? There's always the Most High. You understand? That's a sign. It's a sign of the Most High. The sun, the moon, the stars, the earth you're living on, the body you're in. That's a vessel to you. It's a sign and representation of the Most High, because ain't no man being able to duplicate that. You understand? None. So, for that reason, again, we always praise the Most High. Let's go to the book of, matter of fact, when y'all get a chance, read the whole book of Isaiah 60. It's beautiful, beautiful. Go to the book of Psalms 139, verse 12. Psalms 139, verse 12. It's good to be filled with the power of the Most High, because that's the promise of the Most High. Psalms 139, verse 12. Matter of fact, start at verse 9.
The book of Psalms, 139 verse 9. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me.
Always, no matter where you are, no matter what you're going through, always, you got to meditate on that. Think about that. Remember this verse. No matter what you're going through, where you are, the Most High has got you. He covers you. Read on.
If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, even the night shall be light about me.
Even the light. And that's what we're talking about. The darkness being so widespread. You understand? It covers the whole earth. The earth is in gross darkness. But we are able to be in light because we understand what the Most High is doing. You understand? You know better. You understand better. You see better. That's all you, because why? The Most High put that in you. Read on.
Yea, the darkness hideth not from thee, but the night shineth as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to thee.
Yeah, it makes no difference because you can see. And when I mean see, you can maintain yourself. You can be the power, the fire that the Most High is. The Most High is a consuming fire. Did you know that? You have to be that consuming fire. Because when you see fire, you see light, right? That's what you have to be. It might be all around you. You might get caught up for a second. You might hear something. What? Right? The darkness might be drawing you in, like the force. The force might be drawing you in, right? But nonetheless, you have to come back to that light. Be that fire. Be that consuming fire. There's so many things out here that's so powerful. These forces, spiritual darkness, and where? High places. People are praying against you. And when I say people, I'm talking about millions of people are praying directly against you because they know who you are. You understand? The ones that are in darkness, they ain't praying against it. They know that, okay, they got it. We ain't got to worry about that. But the ones that really know the truth, you got to watch out for them.